Hi guys, it's Rick Wallace from Tackle Village, back again with another fly tying video. Today I thought we'd just cover the very basic materials that you need to start fly tying. You can get these in like a fly tying kit or whatever, but a lot of people will prefer, if they're going to stick with fly tying, to go out and buy the individual materials, because you can usually get better quality and larger quantities. So we're going to just go over what are the basic materials that you need to start fly tying. Particularly, I'm going to talk about fly tying for trout. But before I start, if you like this video, if you like our content, please hit like, please subscribe to our channel, help us get the word out and get these videos to a wider audience. And secondly, we'll list all of these materials in written form in a separate blog post, and we'll link to the blog post in the description field below the video. So you've got a full list of the type of materials that you'll need. Now, we'll just go over each of these materials one by one. Now, hopefully I don't forget any. There's quite a bit that we do need to get through, but I'll try to make it as quick and painless as possible. So the first thing you'll need is thread. Can't tie fly without thread. So here's some nice brown thread sitting in my bobbin. So that's the first point. We can't tie anything with that. Now, lots and lots of basic flies. Often fly tyers will start tying nymphs. A lot of those use pheasant tail. So here's a pheasant tail. Clump of pheasant tail. I'm not sure if clump's the right word, but anyway, that's what we'll call it. I recommend getting one of these. They're not expensive because you'll tie lots of great nymphs with that material. Now, you'll need a hackle if you're going to be tying dry flies. This is a Whiting Farms Grizzly hackle, quite a good quality hackle, basically running from, I think, sizes 16 or 18 through to 12. I bought this as a whole hackle. You can buy half hackles. You can buy different variants in quality, but I sort of went, all out at the start and bought this high quality hackle, and it served me pretty well. I've also got these in furnace and black as well. That's probably more than I'll ever need in a lifetime, but it's good quality and it works. Now, obviously, we need a hook, so you're basically going to need a reasonably wide selection of hooks. You might, starting out, just choose a favoured wet fly pattern, wet fly hook, a favoured dry fly hook. Say in Tiemco, I use Tiemco 100 as a dry fly hook. This one here, Camasan B170, that's a wet fly hook we could use for nymphs and that sort of thing. But by the way, check out our hook equivalent tool if you want to sort of suss out which hooks across which brands are useful for which particular purpose. It's on our site. I'll link to the blog, to the page that tool is stored on below. The other thing in the description field below, the other thing you'll need for starting out is peacock herl. Very cheap, very easy. Makes for a great sort of iridescent, shimmering body material for a lot of nymphs, even dry flies as well. You can tie caddis flies with this. Very, very useful, very, very cheap. So that's our peacock herl. Now, a lot of patterns, dry fly patterns, will utilise deer hair, elk or potentially elk hair. But let's start out with you probably just need some deer hair for hoppers. All sorts of different patterns that incorporate a deer hair wing. This is good quality natural coloured deer hair. If you're just going to buy one patch, that's probably a good starting point. And if you want to tie elk hair caddis, maybe just buy some elk hair too. Now, we need to dub our flies, this here, like, is a superfine dubbing. That's a good place to start. I'd recommend buying, rather than the sort of individual, just buying one colour, buy one of these packs, and they've got a range of colours. You can pull out the dubbing through these holes in the back. I use this superfine for dry flies, and I use a possum dubbing for wet flies, and also sort of more buggy flies when I don't want that sort of absolute perfect body. You want a little bit of loose fibres, so I use that possum. Now, what else do we need? We need lead wire. It's not actually lead. Lead's a bit environmentally damaging, so it's I guess a synthetic lead. We use this on the nymphs to give them a little bit more weight, to help them get down nice and low and be balanced flies. In the same vein, for tying nymphs, we need some beads. These are tungsten beads. I these days just tying with tungsten beads, and I'll just vary the size of the beads. Tungsten's much heavier or much more dense as a material than the brass beads, so I use different sizes of tungsten beads for my nymphs. So you definitely need that. You need a tailing fibre of some sort. This is a Umpqua one. This is for tailing mayfly spinner flies. It's a yellowish colour, as you can see. A tip to save money is that the fibres from a paintbrush can work just as well. You basically just need a tapered thin fibre buy a fine paintbrush and you can cut the fibres off that and use those for your tail. I think another material that you probably need starting out is some kind of head cement. This is actually a varnish, but for the purposes of illustration, let's say it's a head cement like super glue or something like that. And what we do there is you just dab this on the fly when you're finished, after you've whipped finished, and just make sure that, you know, if the fish's teeth bite into the fly and it severs the thread will basically stay in place, and that fly will last through, you know, the capture of many fish. So that's really handy to have. So just going over that, I think that's probably covered all of the very basics. We've got our dubbing, we've got our hooks, we've got our bead heads, we've got our deer hair, we've got some feathers, we've got this hackle. That's probably going to be where the most cost is when you're starting out. And then you've got your peacock herl and your pheasant tail. With this material, I reckon there's a lot of really basic trusted fish catching patterns that you can tie, and you can get yourself set up relatively cheaply. Like I said, we'll link to all of these materials so you can buy them straight from the blog post. That'll help us out in terms of affiliate commissions, but you can buy them wherever you like. Or you can just buy all this stuff in a kit, but a lot of people like the sort of control and probably better value ultimately you get through going out and buying each of these things. So for a bit more info, check out the blog post. We'll link to it in the description field of this video, and thanks for your time, and we hope that this helps you to start out on your fly tying journey. Thank you.